Hello and welcome to this video on dealing with the stress of the 2-week wait. This is a really important topic to talk about. I remember when we were struggling to have our third baby and we'd been through 3 losses. If you are new here, I'll link all about our story below, but I just remember every month, that 2-week period, so after I'd ovulated, waiting for my period to arrive or waiting to finally see those 2 pink lines, it was just the most stressful experience. And stress is the absolute opposite of what you want to create in that time. So I think it's really important we talk about, okay, we feel stressed because it is a real thing. Even though you know you shouldn't feel stressed, it's not up to you anymore. Stressing won't do anything. It's really hard to place those feelings somewhere. And I know for me, I found myself constantly checking for symptoms like, are my boobs bigger? Are they sore? Am I bloated? Is that a sign? Looking for all of the symptoms, peeing on far too many sticks to try and see an early sign of pregnancy. And yeah, I just want to talk today about some more practical ways that you can deal with that stress, because we know that dealing with the stress is going to help your chances of conceiving. Before we get into this video, let me introduce myself. My name is Bettina Ray. I'm a yoga teacher and I specialize in yoga for fertility, pregnancy, birth, and early motherhood. I have a free fertility yoga guide if you'd like to check that out. I'll link that one below. Otherwise, let's get into my 3 tips for dealing with stress during that 2-week wait. So obviously, I'm going to suggest yoga. For me, yoga was so important during that 2-week wait. Specifically, I'd created this really nice morning routine for myself where I would get up and have about half an hour before the kids woke up, and I'd have time for some meditation, so really just finding silence, some visualization, so I was really visualizing what it was that I wanted in my life and focusing on those positive, excited feelings, because when you're struggling to conceive and you're having a lot of trouble, I think we get really stuck in the negative and always thinking it's not going to work out. And I had certainly gotten to that place in my previous pregnancies, which ended up being losses. And when we started trying again, I really wanted to start focusing on the positive, and I saw how important it was to go back to those early days where you just felt excitement during the 2-week wait. So that's what I was trying to cultivate in my yoga practice, a real excitement and feelings of hope. And I did that through visualization. I have another video on visualization, which I'll link below for you as well. And then of course the physical practice, which helps us to move stress out of the body. So obviously, if you've never practiced yoga before, I'd suggest getting a fertility-friendly yoga practice. So during that 2-week wait, we practice as if we were pregnant already, so really no compression on the belly. But any sort of practice that's really going to bring your nervous system down, help you to take some deep breaths and really calm down, it's going to be so helpful during the 2 weeks. So the second thing I really recommend you doing is writing a happy list. Now this is just something that I created. So after we lost our third, I was in a really dark place. And for me, writing a happy list was my way of finding my way back to just living for the enjoyment of living again and not focusing all on having a baby. You probably know what I mean. I'd become so obsessed that nothing else felt important. Everything I did every day felt like it was geared towards having a baby. So my happy list was something entirely different. It was just a list of things that I did to make myself feel good. So things like going to an aerial yoga class, having an overnight stay with my husband, getting new linen for our bed. There was one like going to the movies, renovating an area of our house. So they were quite varied. Some took less than a day to do, some took a week, some took longer, but they were just things to keep me focused on projects and tasks and activities that I enjoy and that would make me happy. And it was such a good thing to do to deal with the stress, and something I continue to do today because it kept me out of that focus entirely on the baby. I would have my morning practice of my yoga, my meditation, my visualization, where I would allow myself to focus on what I was trying to create, and then I would get on with my day, stay focused on my happy list and all the other good things in my life, and it was such a great balance. So I really recommend writing a happy list for yourself, filling it up with all of the things that make you happy and fulfilled and whole, so you can feel really good in your body and your life, and a baby will only add to that, not be the sole purpose and thing you're focused on. And my third tip is really just to talk to someone who understands. Not everyone goes through the experience and the stress of the 2-week wait. For some people, falling pregnant is super easy. For others, it is really hard, and it's an obsession and a stress like no other. So if you can find someone who really understands that to talk to, it can be so helpful. It might be someone you pay if you have no one in your life. Maybe you need to hire a counselor. Please reach out to me if you feel that connection with me. I would love to talk to you about this. But I think it's really important to have someone who understands, so they're not going to fob it off and just say, stop stressing, because that is so unhelpful. Of course we want to stop stressing. That's probably why you've come to this video, but it's really hard to know how. It's not just as simple as turning it off. For me, the practices of yoga, really focusing on other areas of my life and talking about it when I needed, were the 3 things that really helped to deal with the stress of that 2-week wait. If you have other ideas or things that have worked for you, I would love if you would write them in the comments. Other women in this community who would love to read your suggestions for things that helped you, so please add them there. If you would like to get into a yoga practice for fertility right now, please check out the others on my channel. I'll link them below. I look forward to practicing with you soon. Namaste.